my safe protection. I will always be around. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder, honey. I'm tired of being in the line. You say it will. I'm caught in your addictive brain. You say it will, yeah. I'm causing the obsessive mind. You say it will. I'm caught in your addictive brain. You say it will, yeah.
Silverstone circuit is the home of the British Grand Prix and has held an F1 race every year since 1987. This circuit is located in Northamptonshire and as the crow flies is approximately 88 kilometres, or 55 miles if you're old like me, from London. This 5.891 kilometres or 3.661 mile track boasts 18 corners with such iconic names as Copse, Maggots and Beckett's, which is one of my most favourite complexes on any racetrack. With the corners of Chapel and Stoke connected by the Hanger Straight, which has seen many an overtaking manoeuvre over the years, with the one sticking in my mind being the pass by Nigel Mansell on Nelson Piquet after Mansell selling Piquet dummy back in 1987, and that was after Mansell closed down a 29-second deficit over 28 laps. To help you get your bearings, the start for round 5 of this Simsport Racing International GT4 Championship tonight takes place at the old start and finish straight, with the first corner being Copse. This heralds back to when the same start was used by F1 prior to the GP circuit changing to its new layout back in 2011. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Chris Hill and I will be guiding you through this round of the championship, and I'm pleased to be joined tonight by one of our young talented commentators, Mr. Adam Bent. Good evening, Adam.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
I'm fine and dandy, thank you, sir. Your good self?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking forward to this. Silverstone's a track that I've been to a few times. Love it. You know, great racing. Even better in GT cars. So I'm really looking forward.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. On the cameras and making all things happen so seamlessly on the stream is none other than Mr. Tom Vandermeer, who is very shy and won't say hello, but trust me when I say he appreciates you guys watching. Shall we have a look at where we've been in this championship? So, we started off at Kyalami for a 60-minute sprint race, then headed all the way over to Nürburgring for a 75-minute race. Obviously we were racing, don't know why I said that. Then we went over to Misano for our first double header, 2 30-minute sprint races. Last time out we were at Zandvoort for a 60-minute race. Tonight, as you're probably aware because we've just been discussing it, we're at Silverstone for a 60-minute race. The penultimate round of the championship will be Imola for a 75-minute race, and the final round we're back in the UK at Donington for 2 30-minute sprint races. Well, last time out at Zandvoort we witnessed an epic battle between Lewis Dykes and Andrew Richardson, which lasted pretty much the whole of 60 minutes, with Lewis managing to fend off Andrew despite the immense pressure he was under. Not too far away in third was Kieran Vidago at the end. AM class was won by Basman Mellis with an overall finishing position of 7th place. Second went to Mark Newtlings and third to Evan Natfas. Our current Pro Championship leader is Lewis Dykes on 250 points, followed by Kieran Vidago on 210, and in third place Andrew Richardson. And if there had been any decent commentator, I wrote down what points he was on, but I didn't. AM Class Championship is being led by Basman Mellis on 245 points, with Gavin Utley in second, 131 points. But with only a single point separating second and third, can Mark Cooper get the jump on Gavin tonight? So Adam, have you been following this championship, or is this your first time watching tonight? You can be honest, you are amongst friends.
Unfortunately, just due to prior commitments, obviously this past few weeks I've been working on race cars in the real world, so unfortunately not had much of a chance to get behind the desk and watch some of this championship, but I've heard it's obviously very close. I got the pleasure of commentating on some of the GT3s last week, and that was very good to watch, and again very close fighting, so I have no doubt in my mind that the GT4s are going to be just as exciting, and obviously my favourite car in the game, the Ginetta, is in this class.
Yes, and I think there's 2 Ginettas in the race tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Currently we're watching one of them, driven by Matt Richards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in terms of cars to drive, I think it was one of the first cars I really fell in love with in any sim racing game. It just seemed to be sort of the car that you could jump in, and it didn't matter how fast you were always going to have a good time in it. You know, obviously built up in Leeds. The Genettas, obviously based up in Yorkshire, and they have their own test track actually not far away in Blyton. But no, these cars are great fun to drive and really friendly to the driver.
Nice. I've actually been, and I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to mention this, but I've been watching reruns of Top Gear with the new presenters recently, and Flintoff drove a Ginetta to try and pass his racing driver's license.
Yeah, he did his ARDs ironically learnt at Blyton Park. I believe he did his test at Donington, but yeah, the Ginetta itself is a great car, and obviously you got the likes of McLaren in there, Porsche, Audi, Mercedes. I'm sure there's an Aston Martin somewhere in the grid. I think P22 is an Aston Martin, and obviously the Chevrolet Camaro. We're unfortunate enough not to have the Ford Mustang. I quite like that car. I think hopefully Kunos will provide us with the Ford versus Chevrolet rivalry, but for now we'll have to settle with what looks like to be a Joey Logano-esque livery on Chevrolet, which I'm pretty sure is sacrilegious. But no, it's a great car to look at.
I don't think there's any Maseratis in this championship. Well, not tonight anyway. There was at the previous round. I think Regan Mitchell was driving it, so I'm not sure if he can't make it tonight. But
I mean, Maserati, lovely car. Sounds amazing.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
Until you try and take it around a corner, remember there's no ABS or traction control, and you end up backwards.
Mind the detail. I do anyway.
But no, looking at the times, it looks fairly stacked, fairly close at the front. You can see there's only a few tenths separating most of the drivers back at the moment. Lewis Dykes absolutely sort of dominating there. It looks like almost 4 tenths separate him and Kieran Badago in that McLaren. Now, surprisingly, seeing that Ginetta up in third, especially considering the lack of power it has compared to the McLarens, the Porsches, the Chevrolet. It's down on power. I believe it runs a V6. In fact, the smallest engine, I think, in the category.
Your bouts of knowledge are bringing this stream to life. To life. It's fantastic to hear stuff like this. Normally, everybody has to listen to me droning on about rubbish, but you know, you bring in facts and make us historic.
I'm a nerd. That's a simple answer, but no, obviously, you know, Silverstone circuit is, as you've said, you know, it's held a Grand Prix for a few decades now. It's one of the first Grand Prix I've watched. I've got the pleasure actually of going this year into the inner paddocks. I'm going to be there at the inner paddocks of the Grand Prix, and you know, having been to Silverstone a few times now myself for various reasons, I've got to say it's an amazing circuit. You know, it's a fast, very fast circuit. Historic, ironically, hasn't changed super much. Like, if you look over generations, there's been a lot of variations, but the actual build of itself has always been there. You know, there's always been one bit that stayed. The rest seems to be altered around it.
Yeah, so the likes of Cops and up towards Maggots never really changed. Beckett's didn't used to be there. Not as that complex. It used to be a right-hander, didn't it? If I remember rightly.
I believe so, yeah.
And then straight onto into Chapel and onto the Hanger Straight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I've been following Grand Prix racing since 1987. It's funnily enough. Yes, I am that old. And yeah, what I said in the build-up about Mansell and Piquet is the strongest image in my mind of this circuit, despite having driven around here myself in Sims, not in real life. I'm not that talented.
Yeah, I mean, I've walked the track. I've never actually been around in a car, but I have walked the track, the full GP layout. And one thing you can sort of never see, and again, simulators tend to not capture, is actually the elevation. There's not much of it, but there is an elevation change. I think it's down the I want to say the Hanger Straight, but there is actually a mild elevation change, and you can feel it as you're walking it. It's obviously, you know, when you're driving an F1 car at close to 200 mile an hour, you're not really going to feel the slight incline. But you know, these cars again are really well suited for the circuit. It's quite a fast circuit. The cars tend to flow really nicely, especially through Maggots and Beckett's. It tends to be a lift into the complex, and then heavier braking as you come towards the end of that section. But it's a great circuit. You know, these guys are going to enjoy it massively as we're getting towards the end of qualifying here, and you can see that the McLaren's still ruling the roost at the front. The Porsche a second back, which surprises me considering it's meant to be the class favourite.
Lewis has led pretty much most of this championship. Obviously, he's the current championship leader with 250 points, as again I mentioned. So sorry for repeating myself. But what we witnessed last time out at Zandvoort was Andrew Richardson, who's not here tonight, unfortunately. Pretty much following Lewis most of the race and having the odd sniff down the inside, outside, wherever he could try. So yeah, it was an epic battle. So I'm really looking forward to sort of a repeat of that tonight with Kieran. It's currently only 0.9 of a second, is it, behind?
Looks like
Lewis
0.09. So yeah, he's only a 100th behind Lewis there, and obviously you can see Richards isn't far back. Only looks like 5/10 separating him. And again, obviously, it's not too, again, qualifying is only half the battle with an hour-long race. You've got to remember that after 40 minutes, you're going to be tired. You know, after 20 minutes, drivers start to lose a little bit of their focus, maybe get a little bit lack their concentration. I think the whole aim for this race, obviously, for Lewis is to maintain his championship gap. He wants another win. You know, he'll keep wanting to extend that championship, you know, to beyond the reach of anybody else. Kieran will want this win. You know, everybody's going to want to close the gap. As Bas van Mellis, the AM driver, only in 5th, which is a really good job for him. The Porsche definitely now starting to come to life more. Martin Pilkington here going into, I'm not sure where that is. I know it's the cut between the national.
Is it the loop?
That looks like the loop. I think it is.
Should be coming onto the Wellington Straight now, I think.
Yeah, there you go, Wellington Straight there now. Yeah, but yeah, I only ever really remember them as national and international like cut throughs. Obviously, the 3 different layouts at the circuit.
So, you touched on it before, but tonight's race, it's a start-to-finish sprint race. Yeah, no, it's pretty obvious. But what I'm trying to say is that there's no mandatory pit stop required. So, anyone we see in the pits is there because of either their own choice or really bad luck. I think that's fair to say, isn't it? We're not expecting anybody to change tyres. But I don't think we were last time out, and we did witness 1 or 2 changing tyres, and I think they were surprised themselves. Yeah,
it can happen. You know, you can get punctures, you can get all sorts. You know, the track evolves, and obviously I can't remember how well the debris model is modelled on here, but I've had issues where, you know, you get a slow puncture throughout the race, and it might fix itself. You know, you might be able to drive hard enough to counteract it, but no, obviously a crash or puncture, or even running out of fuel, something as simple as maybe a miscalculation by the litre, can be the difference between you having a clean run to the finish and having to stop.
Nobody runs out of fuel in simulators, do they, Anthony Terhorst? Sorry, that's hopefully he's not in chat and not listening. But we must say hello to the people in the YouTube chat. Firstly, I've always got to say it, but good evening to Bass's mum, Marika. Good evening to you. Apparently there's an Adam Bent in there. Never heard of him. And Aaron Van Drunen. Good afternoon, Adam. Aaron, even. And Wouter. Wert. I really said that wrong, so if anybody wants to correct me on that, I do apologise. And we will mull the names all night long and get them all wrong, even the English ones, so don't feel like you're going to be left out.
Got to be done, hasn't it, Tris? Anyway.
Yeah, of course it has. When I was researching this and I was looking at our practice time tracker, Lewis actually did a 209.485. So currently he's 0.2 a second faster than his practice time. So he's improved tonight already in qualifying, as we've only got 2 minutes of this session left.
Yeah, it's definitely looking quick. I mean, again, obviously, then you've got to think of track evolution, practice service. People just tend to come in, make sure the setup's right. You know, they'll do 3 or 4 quick laps, maybe not be full qualifying pace, maybe just a sort of 90% push, just to make sure the setup feels right, and then obviously save a little bit for qualifying. Obviously, we don't like to say sandbagging. It might just be that he's found a couple tenths during his qualifying experience in the practice session, but yeah, he's done really well to get himself that high. Obviously, Kieran is close as well. You know, Kieran's can definitely be putting up a challenge. The Ginetta, watch that into turn 1, because obviously the brakes on that thing are immense. I've sent it down down the inside many a times in that car. So yeah, you know, the whole aim for the Ginetta would be to get in front as soon as possible and pull a gap, because obviously as soon as you get to the straight, it will be swallowed by the likes of those Porsches, the McLarens, definitely the Chevrolet, you know, with that massive V8 engine in it. And obviously, yeah, so the objective for a Ginetta is just a gap in the corners and then pull away. Obviously, hope there's enough of a gap between it and the car behind on the straights.
Okay, so in the last 30 seconds. Sorry, I'm just reading YouTube chat, which is really ignorant to me. Just pronounce it as my idol. No. So, last 20 seconds of qualifying. Seeing if there's anybody going to improve here. Bass is 0.1 of a second up on his time. Dave Hedges 0.1 of a second up as well. There's going to be minor improvements here and there. Aaron Martin Pilkington, who we're watching now, is 0.3 of a second up as he comes into the final corner.
No, I think he's pulled into the pit lane there.
He went into the pits, didn't he?
Lewis Dyke has improved, yeah, you're right. He's gained another, what looks like 2 tenths on Vidago behind. So that's a very quick time from Lewis there to obviously pretty much cement his pole position here. I don't think there's anybody else that's going to challenge. Bas van Mellis has a gap of 7 cars between him and the rest of his class.
That's impressive, isn't it? It's very impressive. Pretty much dominated the AM category this season. And to be fair, in our old championship last season, he won that. But we had to do new pre-season testing with the new community, and he didn't do very well and ended up in the AM class. But
throwing the sandbags out now.
Yeah.
No, but again, a really good job of him as he comes towards the line now. It looks like he may improve a little bit. I'm not quite sure. No, he doesn't. So, but no, 7th place is a very respectable place for the driver there, and obviously he'll be very happy with 7th, and obviously quite a large gap between him and the rest of his class as they jump straight to the grid.
Well, we've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's good to see, you know, 23 cars, definitely. You know, it's not a stacked grid, but equally it's not a small grid. 23 cars is still quite a lot of cars to be playing around and trying to race between. You know, obviously I've had fun races and anything as low as 5 cars. So just because there's 23 cars definitely doesn't mean there's going to be a lack of racing. And I think the McLarens at the front are definitely going to give each other a hard time there, Lewis Dykes and Kieran Vidago.
Yes, at this point, Adam, just for your information, I start writing all these the positions down and go quiet for about 10 minutes.
That's okay.
Which isn't good considering there's 5 minutes to the start.
That's okay. Just say, yeah, we'll say obviously good evening to Walter, Marik. Obviously, Chris has put sorry. Lewis, yeah, I'd imagined he was possibly going to be, maybe the other suggestion was that he was running a heavier fuel load. So obviously running race fuel rather than qualifying fuel. You tend to, obviously there is a difference because of the weight. Obviously every litre of fuel is about a kilo added to the car. And also good evening to Lulu. Welcome to the stream. Obviously we are here at Silverstone for a 1 hour sprint race with no mandatory stop for Simsport Racing International's GT4 class.
Just looking down the list, see if there's any surprises. Yeah, so I would have expected Aaron to be a lot higher up. I don't know whether that's just down to a bit of lack of practice, or he's just not confident in the car. I don't know. He certainly won our championship last season. He's a fast driver.
I guess the thing is, you've always got to remember that qualifying is a short session. You know, you've not got that luck. You know, it's always about luck, because you can be the fastest in maybe all 3 practice sessions, but one bad qualifying will put you back in 20th. You know, we've seen it with Lewis Hamilton literally a few weeks ago, when he was, you know, knocked out in Q1 just by bad luck.
Well, was it bad luck?
Let's not start that debate. Maybe we shouldn't start that debate live on stream, because I don't think that'll end.
It won't end well, will it? But don't worry about it. You're amongst friends, as I said before.
Absolutely, and again,
circle of trust.
Yeah, I do enjoy this community massively, and obviously anybody that is watching this, whether you're watching this live or on the recording it later in the week, you know, this is a great community, definitely worth investing some time into if you're interested in Assetto Corsa or iRacing or all sorts of games. We're always open to trying new things, and it's a great community to be a part of. And absolutely, if you're interested in sim racing, look no further than here.
I can't believe you just swore and called it a game. It's a simulation.
Well, I said simulators and games because we play Euro Truck Simulator as well, which I wouldn't class as a simulator per se, but
that's drinks and drives night.
That's drinks and drives night. I'm on the edge of buying Euro Truck Simulator, so I may end up joining you guys for a drink and drive night. But no, absolutely, these simulators are absolutely incredible, and this community is also absolutely incredible and has always got something going on. You know, whether we've got these races tonight, like the 1 hour sprint races, there's a touring car season coming up very soon. There is a charity race coming up soon as well. I know that there's a charity race coming up very soon on, I believe it is Assetto Corsa. I know, Competizione.
On the 16th of April. I can tell you a bit about that. Seems I'm one of the main organisers.
Yeah, that would. We've got 50 seconds, so be quick. But
charity race, 16th of April. Be there or be square. There you go.
I'm unfortunately going to end up having to be square because I'm at Donington. But yeah, obviously I am going to chuck some money towards the donation. Obviously, all of this money is going to go to Ukraine and support them. As you can see, the front of the grid here with Lewis Dykes and Kieran Vidago running at the front of the grid. I haven't got my list of names, so I think Chris is going to have to run through it for me.
Yeah, so good question. As Adam said, Lewis Dykes, Kieran Vidago in second, Matt Richards qualified in third, Patrick Wants fourth, his teammate Damien De Keyser in fifth. As we see a plethora of Porsches, Sander Vale in sixth. Our favourite for the AM Championship, he can secure it tonight, is Bas van Mellis in seventh. Dave Hedges in 8th, Frank Hopp in 9th, Adam Izalovic in 10th, Patrick Tractor in 11th, Tim Neibauer in 12th, Aaron Martin Pilferton in 13th, Danny Deswart in 14th, Nicholas Milot 15th, Mark Neutlings in 16th, Arjen Lomans in 17th, Dennis Workman in 18th, Mark Cooper 19th, Jan-Paul Enkelboom 20th, Evan Natvas 21st, Daniel Orchestra in 22nd, and bringing up the rear in the Chevy is Xander Vestenberg. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to do that on the grid, aren't I, before they all move?
You are, but if I had the list, I'd have done it for you. But I didn't have a list. It's my bad. But no, as you can see, 23 cars, all different varieties, all quite literally shapes and colours. We've got a comment saying McLaren 1-2 rigged. well, you know, they are. I believe this McLaren runs a Mercedes engine. I'd have to fact check that, but yeah, the Ginetta runs. I believe it's a Ford V6. I'd have to double check, but I believe it's a Ford V6 in the Ginetta.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you.
Obviously, the Porsche in it with its, I believe it's a flat 6 as well. Most Porsches run it. Audi with, I believe, the V10, and obviously Chevrolet with a huge V8. I believe it's something like a 5 or 6 litre V8. Mercedes obviously running their own powertrain, and I know Aston Martins do run a Mercedes powertrain. So yeah, as they are coming towards the GP loop, normally this would be the bit where we say lights out and away we go, but we're at the wrong part of the circuit for that, as they're starting at the old loop.
Yes. And still in the lead is Lewis Dykes, as you'd expect on the formation lap. I'm trying to make it exciting, because like I said, that's
oh, look, it depends. No, but obviously you can see here, obviously everybody weaving and slamming on their brakes to just get what heat you can. GT4s don't get the luxury of heated blankets and all the little trinkets. You got to do it all manually, and obviously these drivers are now doing everything they can to get that little bit of heat. As we're watching Dave Hedges now just weave a little bit as they come towards loop here, obviously coming through. If you were to do the international layout, you'd be going straight on here down towards the hangar straight, so you can see that lovely and easily, nice and easily there. There's the loop there, sort of the cut through there for the national layout, which obviously comes down this way now. As we're still watching Dave Hedges just do his little bit of weaving, you can see a few of the other cars, the Pulse cars there, just doing a little bit of a weave as well to give himself some warmth. You can see the Audi there pretty much putting its foot down, just trying to get some heat in those brakes.
There's very limited traction control on these cars as well, isn't there?
It depends on which car you're driving.
Compared to the GT3s.
Oh yeah. Again, obviously these cars are like the GT3's model after the road car variant. However, these ones are much closer to their road car counterpart. I believe the GT4 Cayman is actually a purchasable road car, if you take out the cage.
So not for me, it won't be.
No. But here we go, they're getting close to the start now, so I'll hand you over to Chris so he can call the race start.
Okay, as we exit the final corner, Lewis Dykes bringing the field, leading the field as we approach the green flag, green lights, whatever you want to call it, and we're off and running, and it is Lewis Dykes side by side with Kieran Vidago into Cox. Lewis managing to maintain the lead. Very clean start from pretty much everyone. There's no yellow flags there, which is unusual as we go into Maggots and now into the Beckett's complex for the first time.
Yeah, everything looks clean. Oh no, it's past Van Mellis. There's contact between Hedges and Van Mellis. That is not what we wanted to see. I think Van Mellis just defends a little bit. Starts the Ginetta sideways. People try to avoid it. Looks like everybody's going to get a bit clear. Somebody out wide into the gravel, you know, giving a little bit of lawn mowing to the Silverstone staff, helping them out a little bit there. But other than that, it looks fairly clean. We've got Van Mellis has dropped to place to Azalevich, but Matt Rich is still holding there. But here comes the Porsche now. Looking around the outside, it's not going to happen there, so he's going to have to wait another few sections here before he has another opportunity to attack here. But everybody through cleanly so far in the first lap.
It looked like Sander Vale and Damien De Keyser had a little bit of door banging coming into Stowe with Sander in front of him. Sorry, it's a couple of cars back. Here we go. Very close. What I did notice about Bass and Dave Hedges coming together there was Dave very kindly pointed him back in the right direction as well, which is really nice. I don't know if you spotted that, Adam.
I did see him give him afters. I wasn't sure whether that was just a continuation or he was just helping him out, but very nice of Dave to help him out there, and obviously only one position lost for both drivers.
And still out in front, still out in front, we're still on the first lap. Lewis leading Kieran.
You can see the power of the Camaro there, just absolutely sailing alongside, well, almost alongside there, but as soon as he gets the power down in that V8, it just seems to hold a lot of cars for ransom.
Sorry, I think that was Patrick Tractor getting past Frank Hopp there. Patrick in the Dynamic Motorsports beautiful livery with my team. As we come into Cops for the second time. What's quite common here is as Patrick beautifully demonstrated, is sliding wide out of Cops. Sometimes that can incur you a penalty. As Dave Hedges gets past Bass for 8th place.
Somebody's gone off there. That looked like one of the Pulse cars. I couldn't tell who it was.
I'm gonna gamble that it's Patrick Vance, because Patrick does seem to have a few.
Oh no,
Patrick's
Patrick's in P4, so it will be his teammate.
It must be Damien then.
It must be Damien De Keyser there, and obviously seems to have had a little bit of a issue there as Dave Hedges looks around the outside. If he can pull that off, I think he has. I think he's got the inside line for the next score. In fact, no, he's already passed. That's a brilliant move there. That's a very impressive move from Dave Hedges there to take the position from Damien De Keyser there. Obviously, a really good defence from Damien, but just didn't seem to be able to get the traction down as quickly as the McLaren. McLaren now sails through into 7th place.
Behind is Bass, trying to catch Damien and hopefully go past as well. I must retract my insult to Patrick as well, so sorry Patrick.
Well, Patrick Vance seems to be attacking still at the back of Matt Richards. Richards seems to be just being able to hold him behind, but that Giannetta's going to be struggling now as Patrick is going to have the pace to hopefully, potentially overtake here. You can see just how quickly they gain as soon as they get to towards the end of the straight. I don't think there's enough in the Porsche's engine to get past the Giannetta just there, but he seems to have held it very well there. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but yeah, that Porsche doesn't seem to be able to overtake him just yet as they come through to complete lap 2.
I think we're watching some fine drivers here. That may be the reason why.
That explain it all.
Not I'm saying you're not. As Frank Hopp goes past Patrick Tractor now. So that's coming onto the start-finish straight. Patrick hopefully going to get back in front, but he won't do into Cops. Not unless you're Lewis Hamilton. Mark Neutling's down in 12th position. Hoping that these two have a little incident and he can get past.
You can see this group starting to form now. You can see the train behind him. Obviously, Hop, Tractor, Neutling's Desport, Pilkington, and I can't read that last name.
Tim Neibauer.
Yeah, Neibauer. That's it.
622.
Yeah,
the
that's
other
the one.
Giannetta. Yeah.
The other Giannetta. You can see that there's a train starting to form. In fact, the Giannetta lead at the back of the end of the train. So it seems to be that these guys are going to, and you can see just behind as well, the rest of the AM category seem to be able to try and slowly close the gap here. Patrick Vance still trying to fight Richards for P3 here. The Giannetta seems to be doing an admirable job of holding off the car from Stuttgart there, the beautiful Pulse liveried Porsche Cayman.
How do you know it's come from Stuttgart?
I believe so, yeah. Porsche's in Stuttgart, from what I know.
Alright.
I mean, that's what I'm being told by my friend from Stuttgart. So, yeah. No, it is in Stuttgart. I do know that.
It's alright. I'm just testing your knowledge.
I believe it says Stuttgart in the badge. If you look somewhere.
Yeah,
there you go. That, yeah.
Yeah, well, fortunately for you, Adam, nobody could hear what Tom said, so you know you're on your own.
No, I've got Tom's seal of approval there, but no, it said they write Stuttgart just above the horse on the Porsche logo. So a little bit of random knowledge for you there.
Thank you very much for that. And we're back to the battle for first.
Yeah,
Lewis has managed to pull a 0.6 of a second gap onto Kieran. Kieran last time out cooked his tyres quite early on and struggled, so interesting to see if he keeps his tyres intact for the evening.
Yeah,
Patrick once again. Sorry, Patrick once again still trying to get past Matt into Beckett's. I think he's got a chance down Angus Straight.
It depends. You can see now, obviously he's right on the back again. It's all going to be about the exit speed. You can see the Porsche's definitely got more exit speed compared to the Ginetta, and you're going to finally see just how difficult it is to keep people behind when you're in that Ginetta, because you can see just how much overspeed that the Porsche carries in the slipstream. It gives him a bit of a nudge for good measure. He's going to look roundly outside again. The Ginetta seems to have better air. He slides it in a little bit of over rotation, but quickly collects it. And yeah, you can just see how quickly the Ginetta collects itself in corners. Obviously the Porsche with a little bit less aero. Lulu saying Lewis is quick in anything he gets in there. Definitely looks like it was almost a second gap now, and we're on the 4th lap now. So yeah, he's definitely pulling a gap between him and Kieran, who is, I know for a fact, very quick.
I think Lewis is doing well in the GT3 championship. I think that's what Lulu's referring to there.
Yeah.
As well. But you commentated on that last week, didn't you?
I did. I wouldn't ask me what happened because my brain is as fried as anything. But yeah, it's definitely quick in this car. That's for certain.
Looking at Dave Hedges trying to catch and pass Adam Zalovic in the Audi. Adam's in the Audi, by the way, not Dave. Be clear. Got a chance down the Wellington straight. To Brooklands if he pulls on to the inside. Does he make the move? He does. It's a beautiful, clean overtake that.
Yeah, very good job there.
Dave's definitely got a bit between his teeth here, hasn't he?
He's definitely putting the foot down and trying to pull a gap as far as he can now. Obviously, he wants to catch up to the front of the grid. So he's just going to keep pushing for, obviously, as many points as he can. His next car on the road for him is Vale. Is that a car going slowly, or is that a car overtaking? It looks like overtaking. It looks like Neubauer is going to be overtaken by, again, I'm not even, Malott, there we go. I was waiting for the times to update. Malott has overtaken. No, the Porsche's going to lose position again as the Ginetta and then sweep back down the inside. So this battle seems to be raging on here for 14th place.
It seemed strange when we came on that. It did look like Tim was just crawling then, didn't it?
It did.
I don't know if the time we actually joined it, whether he just recovered to the track or not. I'm sure if something would have happened, our super broadcaster, Mr. Tom, will find a replay to show us, or he'll tell us in our ear where to go, and as if on the queue. So this is Tim.
There's contact.
Yeah.
Oh no. And obviously, yeah, very polite of him to slow down and let obviously the Camaro continue on its way. So a very good save there by the. I'm hoping it is actually 22 on the timing screens as well, but yeah, the Ginetta just giving it a little bit of afters there into turn.
I'm trying to see who that is, and so that would be Danny DeSwart, won't it?
That would be DeSwart, yes.
Patrick's doing really well here to keep up with Matt Richards in the Ginetta.
He is. Danny DeSwart looking for a move on Natas.
Yeah. So come down the Wellington straight. So you said this Camaro's quite powerful.
It is. It has got a huge V8 engine. I'm not sure the actual official, but I know it's a V8 and it sounds amazing. With obviously the Porsche with its, I believe, flat 6 engine, obviously the V6 behind of the Ginetta, almost pushing the Camaro through the turn there. Obviously now going down towards the start finish straight again to the start there, 6th lap, I believe. Yeah, the Ginetta just has a lot of pace in the corner compared to the Camaro. You've got to remember that the weight of this thing, it's not a light boy, I'll tell you that much.
When you say it's not a light boy, were you calling me a boy, or you just saying it's not light?
I was talking about the car, but I mean, if the cat fits.
No cat fits me.
It's,
yeah, one thing we do like to see is very close racing. You can't get much closer than these three.
Oh, absolutely
This
not. You can see that these guys are near to the tail now. And in fact, there's somebody else. There's Neubauer now coming to the back to try and join in. In fact, yeah, here we go. It's a 6.2 litre V8.
Thank you for that.
So-
That fact. As we see Danny go on down the inside of Evan into Stoke. Doesn't have the inside corner for Club, but Evan backs out to that, and Chris very quickly checks his map to make sure it was Club.
But there you go, Nibau has now gone through, and so has Malott on Natas. In the space of 3 corners, he's just lost 3 positions. So he'll be reeling from that one a bit. Nibau's still under attack from Malott after retaking the position from the number 11, Cayman. Ginetta now under attack again, as Danny de Swart's now going to try and pull away a little bit from the Yorkshire-based car.
And up in front, we've got Lewis has pulled a 2.3 second gap on Kieran. So he's quite comfortably in the lead now.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job here. Obviously, he's doing exactly everything he needs now to make sure that he continues this charge on the title that is going, well, fairly unchallenged right now, as Kieran Vidago is losing time to Dykes at the front, as Patrick Mott still hasn't given Richards any space here. He's going to keep harassing the Ginetta all the way through the race by the looks of it, until either one of them makes a mistake or the overtake is made.
Some dust in the foreground there. Somebody clipped the corner. In front of these guys. That must be Kieran.
I have a feeling it might be our friend Kieran, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's pushing just that little bit too hard now. I think he needs to just back off and just try and breathe. I think he's pushing so hard that he could end up causing himself an accident and potentially even losing a podium if he's not careful. So he just needs to try and focus on the race and not focus on the car ahead.
This is as close as you can get. Is he going down the outside? It'd be brave if he can go down the outside there.
If he can hold it, he'll have the inside for the next bit of the corner, but he can't get alongside again. The overspeed's just not there. So it's going to be another attempt, but it was a good attempt.
It's just going to keep pushing like that, hopefully forcing a mistake. As we come into the village and then to the loop. I'm a corner ahead of myself here. Now we're in the loop. And round Aintree. And onto the Wellington Straight. I mean, it's not like I've got a track map in front of me or anything like that.
No, absolutely not. But you can see that Patrick Vance is now going to try and close the gap again into Brooklands and Luffield. So obviously Luffield being such a sweeping corner here, you've got to try and set yourself up nicely. Otherwise, you are going to struggle towards, I believe it is Cops at the end of the straight. Yeah, it is.
It is.
So he's now going to try and set himself up again. You can see the closing speed out of the corners. The Ginetta just doesn't have the power to match, but as soon as they seem to accelerate out, he seems to have it covered. Again, going through Cops, it looks like he's going to keep it on the track just about. So looks
Very
like
nice, very nice line there of Patrick. Just took enough of the curb.
Was indeed. So the Ginetta now sliding its way through Maggots and Beckett's, down through Chapel now, setting himself up nicely. It looks like the acceleration of Patrick's just not going to be enough to overtake the Ginetta here. I say that, and you look at how much the gap he closed very quickly. Porsche is closing and closing. He's going to try and sell a dummy, maybe to the outside and then move to the inside. He's not. He's going to think better of it and wait for another few corners. But yeah, Matt Richards knows that the pressure is always going to be on so long as Patrick's in his rearview mirror.
43 minutes this race left as well. Perhaps Patrick would be unwise to get past so early. What do you think? Because Matt's, with the pace he's got, he's just going to come back at you straight away, isn't he?
I think these two are equal on pace, so all he needs to do is find that one corner where he's quicker than Matt, and perhaps he will get it through and he'll stay in front. But the Ginetta is a great lead car. It's a bit harder to follow, I think, and especially when you haven't got the pace on the straights. It could be the difference between obviously Patrick then pulling away and Matt obviously holding onto the back. So obviously there's a lot of ifs and maybes about it. There's still a long way to go. You know, there's going to be the potential for lapped traffic to be a factor, and you know that may come into the fight as such. But right now, all they need to do is, you know, they know they've got a decent gap between them and the car behind, so just keep battling and enjoying themselves as best they can.
Yeah. And we're looking at Basman Pamelis, our current AM leader in this race and in the championship. There's 3 cars between him and his and Mark Neutling's the second placed AM racer. That makes sense, that.
A little. No, obviously, yeah, the AM driver there, Mark Neutling's in a monster car. I swear I saw him in a Red Bull one the other week. I've got to be losing my mind. 1 week he's in monster car, 1 week he's in Red Bull. I guess his allegiance to energy drinks changes week in, week out. So,
I think GT3's got the Red Bull and GT4's got the Monster.
Other energy drinks are available.
Of course. Have we not said this before sometime? Did we not do the exact same thing with the charity race with coffee? Yeah.
Yeah. I got you back for it finally. I never forget. No, I'll tell you what I didn't know actually about Silverstone until the other week was the tunnel underneath Cops.
Okay.
There's a tunnel.
Is there a tunnel underneath Cops?
Yeah. There's a tunnel underneath Cops that connects you to the paddock and the outer ring road around the circuit. I only found that out when I was being sort of half chased by a Koenigsegg to the fuel station. Yeah, that was a interesting day. Oh yeah.
You were being chased by a Koenigsegg?
Yeah, we were driving to the fuel station and I look in my mirror and there's, you know, just your everyday Koenigsegg in the carbon following us to the fuel station.
Sorry, for some reason in my head I had you running.
Oh no! Imagine. No, I mean, I was in a Seat Ibiza, so I may as well have been running from it. But no, yeah, that was a scary experience. Thinking, you know, one wrong move and I get hit. There's no way in hell insurance is going to cover a single body panel on a Koenigsegg.
And we've just witnessed Aaron Martin Pilkington going past Frank Hopp. Frank trying to get back at him into Brooklands.
I think he's going to get it done if he can hold the inside line. You know he's going to.
That's one way of doing it.
I mean, yeah, that's taken insight to an extreme, Tom. But yeah,
watch the track limits here as well.
Yeah, obviously the game is quite nice. It gives you 3 opportunities to behave yourself before it starts slapping your wrist. Obviously, some of these drivers can guarantee you've got 1 or 2 now. And it'll all of a sudden be like, got to be a bit more careful. But obviously, yeah, a 1 hour sprint race, you get one more, you get a penalty that's a drive-through.
You're done and dusted, aren't you?
Yeah, it's about 20-something seconds added to your race time. So you may as well, pull into the pit stall and have a cup of tea instead.
Ooh, I thought Patrick was going to lunge then into store. So
no,
he did resist.
Yeah, he did. As Pilkington now goes past De Kaiser. So Pilkington picking off people left, right and centre here. He's done, but he's had Basman Meles. He's now going to get past Damien De Kaiser here. So Aaron Martin Pilkington doing a great job here to put himself back into the top 10. I think now he is sat in 8.
Sorry, Adam. Sorry, Adam. It's Adam Izalovic.
Was that Zalovic?
Yeah, in front of Damien De Kaiser, yes.
I thought that was Pilkington.
Yeah, there's Pilco in the background there.
Ah, that is very confusing.
I was trying to get my head around how we managed to get in front of 3 cars without us actually seeing anything. I
mean, he's magic.
I mean, why would people drive the same livery just to confuse you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They just don't like us. That's what it is.
Oh, sorry, am I supposed to comment there? Sorry.
Oh, no. Your silence is all the approval I needed.
Danny tries to go around the outside into Brooklands, but that's not going to come off. Well, he might do.
Not, but he might be able to get the inside line for the next bit. Nope, never mind. It's coming out to Woodcock now.
They're both having good battles here.
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely having some good fun out there, and I think that's the whole premise of obviously some of these guys are here as, you know, maybe not actually championship favourites, but here to have a good battle and have a good time. And you know, Pulse are definitely doing a good job here as well. Obviously, De Kaiser currently sat in 8th, just behind Zelovic in 7th. Hedges also having a battle here with Sandervale, I'm right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so decided to name himself after a corner here at the circuit, but
Oh, Sander. There's no corner called Sander
no,
here, mate.
there's a corner called Vale. Nice try. But yeah, obviously Vale being the bit before
Damien going, funnily enough, Damien going down the outside into Stowe.
We've seen one move pulled off like that, so I don't think that's going to work this time. He does sweep back under. He's looking to try and get underneath the Audi there, so he's just been held up a little bit by Zalovic and holding a very good line there. So it's going to have to be another attempt later on in the lap.
Bass is catching this couple.
He is indeed. So the battling is allowing other drivers to catch up to the. See, each battle will slow the drivers down and allow them to the drivers behind to catch up. You can see that Pilkington isn't far behind, with Hop not far behind him either. So these guys have got to start knuckling down and either make the swap or you know, face a potential 5-car battle towards the end of the race.
10 laps into this race now. Lewis is still leading by 3.5 seconds. With Matt Richards in 3rd and Patrick Wants not far behind him. In 4th, funnily enough, because that's what comes after 3rd. As we see Damien trying to sell a dummy to Adam. He didn't want it. Thought it was too much money. And now we're watching Dave Hedges trying to get past Sander. Losing my bearings into Cops now. We go. No, we don't.
Yeah, that's Cops. You're right. No, you were right. Trust your judgment. That was Cops.
Yep. I just caught myself looking at the track map and thinking that's not right.
No, come from Maggots and Beckett's now. Obviously, Dave closed up a lot into Cops, but has sort of sacrificed the speed here. Losing a little bit of time now as we come through Chapel Curve and onto the Hangar Straight now. You can see that the gap's extended a little bit more, so he's now going to have to hope he's got a good exit compared to Sander here. They're now going to head towards Stowe for I believe this is the 12th tour of Silverstone. As we can see now, they're coming through. In fact, they're going into Vale now. Move back to the battle just behind with Damien De Kaiser and Adam Zalovic.
Yeah. I'm just seeing Patrick and Matt are only separated by 0.3 of a second as well.
Yeah, these two have been at it for I can't since the first lap. These two have been back and forth, and obviously at the moment it is advantage Matt now as he pulls looks like he's pulled a little bit more of a gap than he's had in previous laps, whether Patrick's starting to struggle with tyres, and the Ginetta is a very friendly car on its tyres and on its fuel, so you can see that Patrick is struggling a little bit compared to Matt in that very lightweight Ginetta.
You know, if we ask nicely, Tom might be able to put both battles on screen for us.
Oh, there you go. How magical. So we've got 2 Pulse cars on screen. However, they're not the same car, and you can see that quite quickly as you can see 1 gold and black Ginetta and 1 Galaxy.
So the top
Audi.
The top view is the battle with Damien De Kaiser and Adam Zalovic, and the bottom view is Patrick Vanst and Matt Richards. I'm glad I got all those words out then.
You did a good job.
I'm just gonna have a breathe.
Yeah, you can see that these two now, obviously we have one battle that is now going towards, we are going towards Maggots and Beckett's in the bottom right, and we're coming towards Cops in the top left. You see these two are, these 2 Pulse cars are battling hard, and you know, this is just a prime example of what the series has to offer. As you can see, these guys are fighting tooth and nail now to try and advance any positions they can before the end of the race. We're almost half an hour in now, so almost halfway through the race. and the battles are still raging on. Obviously, at the moment, Lewis Dyke just pulling away at the front. Kind of feel sad for the last person. It is unfortunate, but again, that's racing. You know, you win some and you lose some. And for some people as well, it's just an experience. You know, this is just learning and getting used to racing in amongst some faster drivers. You know, you'll only get quicker through practice. So you'll know, you know, if you're starting out and you're not 100% sure, there's always series or people that are around who are happy to sit down and teach as much as they know, or teach you the basics to help you just get that little bit faster, that little bit more friendly with traffic and racing alongside people.
I'll just do what I do and realise you're not very good at it and go commentating.
Oh, bless. Nah, you're not that bad, Chris.
And both these battles, I'm sure they're both separated by exactly the same amount. It does seem that way, doesn't it?
They've been going at each other in the exact same. There's been sort of gapping at the exact same place, except two are it's Germany versus Germany in the top left, and it's England versus Germany in the bottom right. Oh, Patrick Vance looks for a little bit of a nose. Come on, Paul Sport in the chat from Geordie Baker, or Geordie, I'm not sure, but yeah, he's supporting the Pulse boys. As De Keyser's finally going to start to make a move, so it's the first Pulse car to make a move on. He's going to make the move on Azalevich. Does he keep it? He looks like he's going to make it stick. He's going to sort of show the brakes to the Galaxy Audi behind, and it's position made for De Keyser on Azalevich. So Azalevich held off for quite a while, but De Keyser eventually making his way back through, and Bas van Melt's now licking his lips, looking for another opportunity to make another position here. Azalevich now potentially going to be under attack from the AM leader and P9.
So I'll let you into a little secret that Yardi in the chat there saying, "Come on, Pulse Motorsport," is one of the Pulse Motorsport teammates for the endurance. And do you know who the fourth member of that team is?
No.
Do you know Tom?
Oh yeah, it's Tom. Yeah, I remember now.
Hey.
Hello, Tom. Definitely didn't forget. No, but obviously we're almost half an hour in now, because Dave Hedges still attacking Sandervale as they come towards Vale. They're coming through Club Corner now towards Vale for, I'm not sure what time we are on lap 14, I believe. So it says 13 laps complete. That's the number of laps completed as opposed to the number of laps they're currently on. So Patrick Vance still looking around the outside. The Janetta weaving a little bit, trying to put off the Dutch driver. I am right in assuming that Patrick is from Netherlands.
Yes, you're
Tom?
correct.
Yeah, I can confirm that.
And we see Dave does manage to get past Sander there.
There we go, he's done it. It's not in Vale, so it's not as funny, but you know, he's done the move, and he's now going towards the loop, and he has made the move. So 2 of the 3 battles that we've been watching have concluded. Well, I say concluded, something has happened. Meanwhile, Matt and Patrick just seem to be using us ever so slightly. Oh, bless you. Already asking if someone could sponsor new PC so Pulse can have the 3rd car on the track. I mean, unfortunately, I think it might be a bit difficult for me to just say, yeah, come borrow mine while I do commentary. I'll sit in a corner on a laptop. But yeah, you can see that Adam Azalevich now has actually dropped off the back of De Keyser a little bit. De Keyser's pulling away quite nicely here, and Van Mellis is also looking for a way through here on the Audi in front. So the AM driver looking to overtake the Pro driver here. In fact, there's a gap of 3 cars still between him and Mark Neutlings in the Monster Energy Porsche. Not far behind, obviously, so we're over halfway through. Lewis Dykes still in the lead. Kieran Verdago 2nd, Matt Richards 3rd, Patrick Vance 4th, Dave Hedges 5th. 6th is Sandervale, followed by Damien De Keyser, Adam Azalevich, Bas van Mellis, and Aaron Marking Pilkington rounds out our top 10. I don't remember everybody's first name, so I will apologise if I just say you by the last name. P11 is Mr. Tractor, followed by Hop, Neutlings, Malott, and Neubauer are our top 15. Natas, Lomans, Eichelboom, Berkman, and Cooper are our top 20, with Westenberg and Hostrecker are top the rest of our drivers. We have lost one driver, I'm not sure who it is.
I was expecting to say that. I'm sure there's 23 in here. Shall I? I'll do a scan and see who's missing, shall I?
That is always a good shout.
Bear with me, please, caller.
Do we have any hold music on the soundboard? So with 28 minutes to go, we are still watching Bastien Mellis almost making his way through past Azalovic. In fact, Aaron Martin Pilkington.
I struggle.
I'm butchering names tonight. Not far behind now, so he's closing that gap between him and the 3 drivers in front. So he may be making this a 4-way battle. 2 Audis versus 2 Porsches. I'm sure it'll be an enjoyable to watch, as Patrick Ponce has actually dropped off a little bit. He's now almost a second behind Matt Richards. Here we see Frank Hopp being challenged. In fact, no, he's made the way through on Mr. Tractor there. So Tractor now losing position. In fact, he's going to make his way back through now. Frank Hopp makes the position, then loses it again immediately after in the loop after a bad exit. So Frank Hopp's going to have to do all that work all over again. But there's the Ginetta in the background. You can see Mark Neutling's there. You can see Malott just in front of them both. The Ginetta now hassling Mark Neutling's for P14. So Neubauer now trying to make his way through. Team Rocket, I'm assuming that's a Pokemon reference based on the car livery, trying to hassle the Monster Energy car.
Just for your information, Adam, it's Danny DeSwart that we're missing.
I was wondering who it was.
Yeah, the Camaros,
Yeah.
or one of the Camaros, disappeared.
Yeah, in fact, that was our Camaro that was in the mid-pack.
The yellow and red one, wasn't it?
It was the Joey Logano car, yeah. So that's really unfortunate to see.
And also, what I'm seeing here is, I don't know if you can see it in position 10, Pilco. It's massive.
His ping is huge. I don't know. I mean, it might be like your internet. It might not be.
Oh, my internet's really poor.
Oh. But yeah, Vonst is still not letting Richards get away, but Richards seems to be holding a little bit more of a gap between himself and Patrick. So Patrick has got a lot of work to do still if he wants to close and overtake. It seems to be that the Ginetta's just holding fort really well, and I'm, you know, as a Ginetta fanboy, you know, I'm loving it. But I'm sure that we want to see this battle rage on right to the end.
You're hiding your fanboy really well, you know. You've not mentioned
no point hiding it, especially with the new one coming out with the G56 with a V8 engine in it. Finally, something a bit more powerful.
The V8 is that a bit more powerful than the V6?
Well, I mean, you say that, but I've seen
always the case.
It's 4 cylinders with more power than a V6 sometimes. So, you know, definitely. It'd be interesting to see how they evolve the car over time.
We've seen Malott try and get underneath Frank Hopp there. Down the Wellington straight now.
So, in fact, there we go. Yeah, Frank's lost another position to Malott this time, so he's having a bit of a struggle through the loop. It seems to be the loop that he has a lot of trouble getting through. In fact, here we go. Dennis Verkman is being challenged by the Mercedes there of Eichelman. So these are I believe it's the only 2 Mercedes in the category. So you can see the Moto 11 car there. I want to say that's like a key lime green at the front of the car, being challenged by almost Bumblebee-esque number 11 there of Eichelman.
Your knowledge is astounding. Bumblebee-esque. Yeah, that's easy.
Looking, it's yellow and black. It's close enough.
Could it have a sting in its tail?
Well, it's a Mercedes, it definitely does. But Neubauer still challenging Mark Neutling's for P14. In fact, there's the gap still about the same as it was when we last watched these two. In fact, it's a Ginetta versus Porsche, just the other way round. So P15 and P14 is identical to our third and fourth battle, just the other way around here. Neutling's still holding fort against Neubauer. Am versus Pro here at the mid to the end of the pack here. So we are watching as he closes the gap a little bit towards through Vale and towards Club. There you go. I remember definitely.
Tim's relatively new to this championship as well. Can't remember if this is his 3rd race within the GT4s.
He's doing a very good job then, keeping up with Mark Neutlings, a very experienced sim racer. Definitely, well, he's quicker than me, so I can't really say much, but yeah, he's doing a good job there to hold back the advances of the Ginetta in P15. You can see Frank Kopp not far in front of these two now, so maybe the battle is going to become a three-way battle for P13 as we are almost 2/3 of the way through the race.
Oh, quick, isn't it?
It has indeed.
Oh yeah, Lewis is still in the race, isn't he? Forgot about that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
4.5
should
seconds.
probably mention our current leader, Lewis, as he is still pulling away at not a large amount, but every lap just seems to be a couple tenths, and you know he's done a great job to hold this position from Kieran, who is, you know, on his day the fastest driver on the circuit. So he's doing a really good job here.
And it looks like, well, as I say that, I'm going to say Matt's pulling away from Patrick, but the gap score's right back up again. There was a
It tends to.
0.7 in the second gap there.
It absolutely tends to, with the Porsche getting a better exit than the Ginetta. It just seems to be that the Ginetta can't pull away quite as quickly as it would like.
Too early to call this race, isn't it?
Oh, it's way too early. These
no.
two are going to be fighting all the way to the end, and you know, it's not something that we're going to be disappointed with. So these two will keep going at each other until the end, and we want to see that. You know, we want to see these close battles. You know, we see them all the time, and this is just another good example of how close the racing can be when you have a good championship like this.
The GT4s always do pull up a great series of battles. GT3 does as well, but I think there's much closer racing than the GT4s because there's less variables.
Absolutely, yeah. There's less to go wrong, I'd say, as well. Like, you know, the cars are really nice to drive. I've always found them nicer to drive than the, you know, the likes of the GT3s. I tell you what, I am looking forward to driving more is that new BMW, the TCX car. I find that really fun to drive as well. Definitely plugging it, but
not had a go of that yet. I had a brief go of the Ferrari challenge. Yeah, it was brief.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't get into a debate about that. That's probably for another stream. But yeah, obviously, all the new cars coming down. Obviously, the introduction of touring cars into ACC, because obviously TCX stands for obviously Touring Car Extreme as such. It's mainly a class only used over in America, so maybe that is a tease for more American tracks in the future. I would definitely like Road America. I think that would be a great track to have.
Tim, I'm going around the outside here. Into
there we go. I was going to. Oh, there's a little bit of contact. Neutling's going to spin. It looks like Neutling backwards. That is Neutling's off. He holds it out of the wall. A very good slide. Monster Energy livery must have been reminiscent of Andreas Backerud there. But yeah, save of the day. Absolutely, he's kept it out of the wall there. Really good job. Really unfortunate. Neubauer was, I think, a little bit more aggressive than needed, but it's another position gained for the Ginetta, and unfortunately Neutling is going to have to suck his thumb a little bit and just carry on.
I think he was flashing his lights because he knew he was on stream then. I don't think he was flashing his lights in anger at Tim Neubauer. Do you?
No comment.
As we've seen a lot go past Patrick Tractor.
Yeah, so Tractor's lost a position now, so it's back to Tractor versus Hop again. Lulu commented about the new Evo 2 Honda. When is that coming out? I'd like to know. Is that actually out yet? I've yet to actually have a proper look, but obviously, here we go. We've got a replay now of the battle. They're alongside. There's a little bit of contact, and it looks like it just snaps, gets sideways, straight on the throttle there. No hesitation. That's a great save. The colours reminiscent of Andreas Backerud, and now you can understand why. Rallycross masterclass there from Mark Neutlings.
Luke's answered your question there, Adam. It's
Awesome.
out in everything but name.
Yeah, obviously, I've not really been a big fan of the Hondas. I'm much more a
Ginetta fan. Yeah, we know.
Ginetta fanboy. I mean, if they want to bring out the Swangtail, Kunos, if you're listening, bring out the Swantail GT3. You definitely got one person that will be driving it in every championship, regardless of how many modern cars are there. You know, it will become the new Jaguar for me. It'll be just the epitome of classic GTs.
Patrick harassing Matt Richards here now.
He absolutely is, and you can see that Patrick knows the clock is ticking, so he's got to try and make a move in the next 17 minutes, and possibly one lap if Lewis gets close to the end of the lap. But yeah, Patrick is doing a good job here at harassing and not losing the back of the Ginetta. The Ginetta seems to be pulling away in the corners. As soon as they get to any form of acceleration, the Porsche just closes right back up. As you can see there's a gap that extends a little bit through the corner. As soon as the acceleration happens, there you go, the Porsche's right back on the tail. A little bit of a sloppy exit there from Matt Richards as they come down towards the Wellington straight now. It looks like the Porsche's going to have a little bit more acceleration. In fact, there's a little bit of a snap from the Ginetta. That's going to allow the Porsche to close up a little bit potentially. It doesn't look like it though.
It did seem to be pulling away there more than anything. I was expecting Patrick to go down the inside then.
Absolutely, I think that just might have been a better exit for the Ginetta than the Porsche, possibly Porsche losing a little bit more exit speed than wanted.
Matt dancing on the brakes then into Luffield.
Yeah, these two are going tooth and nail and they're not giving any breathing room to each other. In fact, you can see the times are actually a lot slower than what they were running qualifying, purely probably because they're battling so hard.
Lewis Dykes with the fastest lap so far. 209.712, I believe.
You are correct, yeah, 209.712. So it's about 6 tenths slower than his qualifying lap. But obviously we've got to remember he was on a high level. He's probably on a high level of fuel. Tyres are quite, going to be quite worn towards the end of this lap, the end of the race now. And obviously we'll wait and see whether he can improve on his time and when or whether Kieran can close up that gap. But at the moment it doesn't look likely as the gap keeps extending at the top.
You just mentioned what the gap was then, sorry. 6.3 seconds, something like that, is it?
I can't read it, it's a little bit. 6.7 by the looks of it.
Going to split hairs on 1.4. Jeez.
Yeah, it's all about the tenths.
As long as you don't burst out into song, we're alright here.
I'm not a musical person. You're asking the wrong person. I'm sure Steve Proudly would give you a great musical rendition. Definitely gonna throw him on the spot there.
Here's a question for you.
Go for it.
Was Nicholas Milot not in front of these two? Not these two. In front of Patrick and Frank.
He was. So something's happened there. I think
Something's happened there. It's back in 13th, yeah.
Or possibly even a battle that's just gone the way of the two pro drivers. But Milot currently now taking up P2 after Neutling's off-track excursion to demonstrate his rallycross abilities. But Milot now being challenged by the Ginetta. So the Ginetta now picking its way through, trying to make its way towards the top 10. Obviously, we're quite far away from Mr. Pilkington at the moment, but P11 would still be a really respectable result, as obviously it'd be the closer end of it'd be obviously perfectly midway through the field there for Ginetta. Obviously, the other Ginetta currently in P3, still 4 tenths separating him and Patrick. As you can see, here we go, we jump back to them. Coming towards Maggots and Beckett's now, so through Maggots, Ginetta throws itself in. Just the way it dances is so beautiful. I really enjoy watching this car go. As Porsche also closes up a lot, so there was a bit of a mistake there from Matt through the Beckett's part, through Church, and now back down the Hanger Straight. Or Chapel, sorry, it's not Church.
I was thinking then, Church. Where the hell is that on the track?
my brain, like I say, my brain's a little bit fried. But, he's going to go around the outside. He's going to be pushed wide. There you go, there's the Ginetta again. I was expecting to see a Ginetta either sideways or just pulling away again. And Patrick, very brave move, but I don't think that was ever going to work.
He'll soon be back on his tail and trying to hunt him down.
He absolutely will be. You can see that as they come now back down the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight, as it's now called, that he's going to guarantees he'll close up again before the next straight, and obviously we'll be back to business as normal, as we'll call it, as Bas van Mellis is still hassling Adam Zalovic. So Adam Zalovic has lost the back of Damien de Keyser, but he is still being harassed by another Porsche. This time it's I'm going to call it the Zebra car, because it's very interesting to look at.
Zebra car if you want.
It's a very bizarre livery. I'd half expect like an Adidas or a Nike logo on the side. As you can see, Bas van Mellis still hassling Adam Zalovic for what is going to be P8. Obviously, he's still currently leading the class by 3 cars, so, and quite a margin as well. I don't really have an official margin, but it's about 20 to 30 seconds. So he's doing a really good job there at making sure he holds his gap and enjoying his battles with the pro drivers.
Bass always comes up with some very interesting liveries. I think he had a rainbow coloured car last season, if I remember correctly.
We'd love to see it. I think that's a great idea. But here we go. Yeah, Ginetta. Look, I thought the Ginetta was alongside. It's not, but it is right at the back of Hop, as Malot's gone back through on Hop. Oh no! Pilkington in the pits. He's pulled in. Is that Pilkington's race done? I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, but Pilkington's just pulled in. So,
yeah, perhaps he's not filled up with enough fuel.
I'm not sure, but it didn't look like he'd stopped in a box. It looked like he just pulled in. But that's going to drop him right to the back of the field. So I'm not sure what's gone on there. I'm sure he'll message us in a moment. And oh, there you go. He might have run out of fuel. I think he may have. Oh no, he's jumped back to his pit box. So
it's like he's escaped back to his pits. Yeah,
it does look like it. So that's unfortunate to see. He was doing really well initially. So I'm shocked to see him jump back to the pits like that, and it's unfortunate to see as well. We never want to see anybody retire. I'm sure he'll be in the chat and let us know what happened, because he's a lovely guy, and he's always a really great pleasure. It's always a pleasure to talk to him. So yeah, anyway, we're still watching these two battles rage on between Bas van Mellis and Adam Zalovic in the top left, with the weaving of the Ginetta and of Matt Richards and Patrick Vance's Porsche. He's going to look down the inside. There's going to be finally a move made. So Patrick Vance is going to go down the inside. It looks like he's going to make the move. So there we go. It took 50 minutes and 23 laps, but he's made the move finally on Matt Richards. The Ginetta finally concedes the place. It's not going to be done just yet. You can imagine that the Ginetta will try and fight back. Patrick just seems to have the pace advantage over the Ginetta, and all of a sudden you can just see how much that Porsche seems to accelerate away from the Ginetta. So it is now advantage Patrick Vance as they come on to their 24th lap.
So do you think that's down to tyres?
I think there might be a little bit of fatigue. I think that might have been a small mistake and not defending the way he needed to. But we'll wait and see what happens here, as the Ginetta's immediately closing back up. So he's going to push a little bit harder. Hopefully not too hard and doesn't make a mistake. But yeah, Matt Richards, really unfortunate to see right towards the last 10 minutes of the race. Meanwhile, Natas is going to go through on Neutlings. It looks like that's going to be a pretty foregone conclusion here for the P3. So Natas is going to hold the outside. It's not going to be not favourable initially, but immediately the acceleration is going to be much better. But there you go. Neutlings cuts the track a little bit there, so he's going to be essentially given a track cut warning there. He's going to defend, and there you go. It leaves a little bit of space for the Wild Things Porsche, but the two cars there now just continuing to hold fort. So yeah, it's interesting to see that Matt Richards finally lost the position to Patrick Vance.
Yeah, but Matt's right back there. He hasn't dropped him, has he?
He hasn't, and that Ginetta's now going to be pushing as hard as it can to try and make a move. But there you go. Wow, what a exit there for the Ginetto. It's going to allow him another attack down this straight, but you can see potentially there's not going to be enough pace in the Ginetto. In fact, he does have the move. Oh, almost swipes the rear end, the nose across the rear end of that Porsche. He's going to push the Porsche down. He's going to run wide, and he's going to look for a cut back into the turn. He's not going to make it. It's not going to be available to him. He's going to look around the outside, pushes the Porsche wide again, gives him a little bit of a nudge for good measure, and he's going to push him wide again. There's contact. Matt Richards is going to go in the wall, and that's going to be his race over.
Oh, such
Just
a shame.
like that, Matt Richards is out of the race by the looks of it. He's going to get himself going again. He's going to bash the wall for good measure. The car's going to be very damaged. I think that's going to be rear end damage as well, so that car's going to be a little bit more difficult to drive. Dave Hedges is now going to inherit 4th place, but that is really unfortunate for Matt Richards. That looked like just a little bit of the afters on one of the on that hole there, and that is just what happens.
So unfortunate after such a long race battle, such clean racing, that something like that happens towards the end. Obviously, we can't judge on what actually did happen.
I don't think it was intentional. I think that was just a little bit of.
I very much doubt it was intentional.
A little bit of afters, and it does happen. In fact, here we go, the replay now. So you can see he just gets underneath him, gives him a little bit of a nudge. It's not too bad, nothing too bad. Runs him out wide. There you go. So Patrick just needs to come back on the circuit, and I don't think Matt wanted to give him the room, and that is just a bit of a. Somebody needs to leave the space, and that's what happens when nobody does.
So where's Matt dropped down to? Dropped down to 6th place. So he's in front of the other Pulse Motorsport car. So this will be round 2.
Potentially round 2, yeah. But 6 minutes to go. It looks pretty much foregone unless Lewis suddenly has a massive incident, which we're really hoping he doesn't. It looks pretty foregone here that Lewis Dyke will take the race victory. Kim Verdago, again, pretty comfortable. 9 seconds, 9.5 second gap between him and Patrick. Dave, don't think can challenge before the end of the race here for that 3rd place. So the top 4 so far looking pretty foregone. In fact, no, I lie, as Mr. Vale is still right behind Dave Hedges, so that could change yet. Meanwhile, we're watching Bas van Mellers chase Adam Mazalovic still. So this battle continues to rage on before as we head towards the last 5 minutes of the race.
Yeah, it's been a very good race so far. Lots of nice battles. Not been disappointed tonight, have we? Not been starved of anything.
Absolutely not. And again, like I say, Silverstone definitely promotes more amazing racing when it comes to GT racing. Definitely.
You're right. Sander here is less than a second behind Dave now.
Yeah, you can see he's closed up massively.
Still 4 minutes left of this race, 4.5 minutes even. Even 4. Oh, it will be 4.5 minutes by the time I get my words out, won't it? There's still a fair few chances. Anything can happen with the guy in front. Anything can happen with the guy behind. But what, as you said before, 13-second lead for Lewis on Kieran. That does look like it's he's sewn up the race, unless anything dramatic happens. And touch wood, that won't.
Yeah, again, obviously these guys have been really, they've been exceptional. They've both pulled a gap and just maintained their own gaps. Kieran a wee gutted that he couldn't really push Lewis as much as he wanted to, but he'll be happy with the podium. I think he's definitely not one to say no to it. Every day's a learning day, and I think these guys have definitely got a lot to do in order to catch Lewis. Now, obviously, Bass again, although there is now no gap between him and Malott. Malott's just done a really good job here getting past Tractor and Hop. So, in fact, Tractor's now going to look around the outside. He's going to switch back. That's going to be a really good move if he completes it. Little bit of afters, but there you go, Patrick Tractor back through. So that's a really good move. That's a good example of being patient and letting the other driver make the mistake. And Patrick Tractor goes back through. So there's now a gap between him at Malott and Van Mellis. Obviously, there is there's a time gap, obviously, on the time screens. They are next to each other. So Tractor now goes back through. Hop is not far behind Malott. So Malott is going to now have to defend from the McLaren just behind 4P10. So this is actually the battle 4P10 right now. Patrick Tactor currently leading that between the three of them. But Neubauer has disappeared from the back of this group, so I'm not sure where Neubauer has gone. Matt Richards is a little bit further away from Vale for 5 seconds, so he's not going to have a chance, I don't think, before the end of this race. About 2 laps left to go before the end of the race, and so Matt Richards is now going to have to try and chase Sander Vale. I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to close that gap, but if he does, then we might have a last little battle between him, Vale and Hedges.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's only 0.7 between Dave and Sander as well. So with 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes left of the race, there's a chance. There's a chance for Sander to get past Dave, but will be a slim chance.
Absolutely. We've still got the battle going on between the two Mercedes at the back. We've still got this battle going on between Van Mellis and Azalovic here. These two are still fighting tooth and nail for this position. But Van Mellis is now going to look to the outside and then try and cut underneath the Audi. In fact, he tried to go underneath. The Audi holds line and stops him from doing so. So another lap where Azalovic has been equal to his rival there, Bas Van Mellis.
Great driving there between the two of these guys. I thought Bas was going around the outside then, but didn't quite succeed. Pull it off.
Absolutely, they've been both been very patient with each other, and this is a good example of what we see more often not again. Even with Patrick, and even though it ended in that way, the whole battle had been polite and well thought out. And I think Matt got a little bit impatient when it was his turn to hold station as such. So yeah, it does happen, and incidents are part of motorsport. You're never going to be able to completely rid incidents out of motorsport, otherwise it would make everything a little bit more boring if every overtake was a clean and foregone conclusion every time. I mean Mercedes, but anyway, so obviously with about 40 seconds left to go on the race, Lewis, I'm not sure where he is on the circuit. We'll find out very quickly, obviously, if the white flag drops. So, in fact, this may well be the last lap. I think this will be the last lap. So
there's a good chance, isn't there? Because this is he's going into store now.
Yeah, he's only coming towards Vale and Club now. So I think this is going to be the last lap. We're waiting for we'll see the white flag drop probably as he comes to the end of the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight, as it's called. Sander Vale's only got one more tour of the circuit to get this done if he wants to make the move. He's sort of pulled really wide there out of the slipstream. I'm not sure quite why he's done that, but he's going to give it a push and see if he can catch Dave Hedges before the end of this race. But there you go, there is the white flag now. So we're following Lewis Dykes through towards the loop. In fact, I will hand you over to Chris so he can do his bit.
I've got a bit to do, have I?
I mean, you may as well. This is your. I thought.
No,
Before I have to let you finish it off.
So yeah, as Lewis goes round Aintree, now down the Wellington Straight for the final time, back marker in front of him is Zander Vestenberg. Last time into Brooklands through Luffield, and I don't know what else we can say about this chap. He's maintaining his unbeaten record. Only catastrophe could happen now to stop him winning this race as he crosses the line and wins round 5 at Silverstone. Coming around the final corner now is Kieran, squirming a bit.
I think that's a bit of showboating potentially.
You think?
I think so.
You don't think his wheels broke or anything? So that's second place for Kieran, so I'm sure that'll secure him second in the championship for now. Patrick crosses the line to finish third. Flashes his light, windscreen wipers going. Obviously there's an electrical fault there. Dave Hedges finishes fourth, Sander Vale fifth, Matt Rich sixth, Damien De Keyser seventh. As we wait for Adam and Bas to finish 8th and 9th respectively. great race. Nicholas Millot in 10th, actually gets past Patrick Tractor somewhere on that final lap, I believe. That has been a good battle between those three, between Nicholas, Patrick and Frank. And I'm calling them across the line, even though they've not crossed the line. But they're all flashing the lights. They've obviously enjoyed that battle. Tim Neibauer has crossed the line to finish 13th. Mark Neutlings will be a bit disappointed with the incident with Tim. Finishes in 14th. Evan Fass finishes 15th. Ian Lomans 16th. As we watch the two Mercedes, Dennis Workman and Jan-Paul Elkenboom. No, they didn't swap positions then, did they?
No, it just looked like
No,
they
no,
did.
it just looked like it,
Westenberg just jumped to the pits, which is interesting. Didn't take the checkered.
So, we hope you enjoyed the racing, and we look forward to bringing some drivers into chat. So, hello, Bass's mum again. Yes, certainly was a great race for Bass. I'm pretty sure he's just secured the championship there with that emphatic win in his class, I should say. Better add that very quickly, Anta, before people are up in arms saying that Lewis won the race. And even though I started at the top of the show saying where the next race is, so the next round will be at Imola. And we wait for some chaps to come and chapesses potentially to come and join us in the commentary booth. And Adam, do you want to ask some questions? Are you?
Hello. No, absolutely. I'll leave it to you. That's an interesting moment there. Van Mellis decides to test the suspension on the Porsche, but yeah, you can see just how bunched up they get at the start, but immediately, they all settle back down into their positions, and it's a good race there. But no, I think I will leave the interviewing to you.
Okay, so I'm going to bring in Lewis first. And we also have Kieran joining as well. So to you first, Lewis. Congratulations on what was another win for yourself. Do you want to talk us through the race from your point of view, or was it dull and boring because you led from start to finish and Kieran couldn't catch you?
Well, I mean, obviously when you lead and you don't get caught is good, but yeah, it was just more of just trying to learn for the last few rounds to make sure I hit the ground running every weekend and keeping the consistency up, just getting more and more used to the car. I mean, yeah, we've done a lot of races, but it's still a relatively new car to me, so just learning about it, learning about how you can push it during a stint, and yeah, just keeping control. And I'm not sure what happened to Kieran in the last sort of 10 laps, but the gap just started to go up, so it was just keeping it consistent, really.
Sure, Kieran will tell us very shortly. How was? Did your race go according to plan? Did you intend on quality? Sounds stupid, these questions, don't they? Do you intend on qualifying in pole position and leading the race from start to finish?
Let me have a think. I mean, just always trying to beat yourself, I guess, and always trying to improve. So I've won all of the races so far, so I can't complain. So yeah, it's been alright, really. I mean, fair play to Kieran, he's pushed me in a lot of the races, so yeah, can't complain. It's been a good season so far. Got to round it up in the next few weeks and see where we end up.
So I think that puts you on 300 points, doesn't it, for the championship at this moment in time. And Kieran will be on 255 with 150 points left. So there is a mathematical chance for Kieran to still push you to the wire. Next round is a 75-minute race at Imola, which means there will be a mandatory pit stop for fuel. Probably a bit too early, Lewis, but have you thought about your strategy for that yet?
It will be just the same as today, just do what I can, see where I end up. If I end up in the lead, great. Don't do what I did in GT3 if it's wet and lock up on a puddle in the pit lane and get disqualified. So, apart from that, should be alright.
So, well, thank you very much for letting us watch your race. And I'll just bring in Kieran for the second place, and my usual introduction to Kieran. Hi, Kieran.
Hi.
How are you today?
I've got a bit of a headache.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I've got a headache too after watching such a fantastic race. We hope that you do watch the stream back. And this is no disrespect to you guys, but the battles behind you were really good to watch all race long. But Kieran, did everything go to plan for you?
No. Nothing really went to plan tonight.
So what was it? Did you struggle with your tyres? Because I know last time at Zandvoort you struggled with the tyres towards the end of the race. Is that similar tonight?
A little bit, yeah. Just wasn't feeling, fully like the best today. A bit of a headache all day. So doing this, there's a bit of a strain. Made a few mistakes in the first couple of laps that opened the gap up to about 3 seconds, and then there was nothing really I could do to close that gap again. Sort of got a bit bored, lost a bit of motivation, started putting in some really slow lap times. Just secured the second place, really.
These aren't quite racing driver excuses I'm used to hearing. And I'm not saying that. I'm not for 1 minute saying they're excuses at all, Kieran. You know that. I like to think we have a good laugh with each other. But yeah, to hear that you're unwell but still managed to finish second is great from your point of view, but disappointing for me because whenever I'm unwell, I still finish last.
Oh, Chris, you need to start racing by yourself.
I still finish last.
Me.
So next round, as I said to Lewis, is at Imola for the 75-minute race. Is Imola a favourite of yours, or is it one of the tracks that you loathe?
I absolutely loathe Imola. Really not one of my strong tracks. Don't really know why. I just never seem to go very well there. But I'll still push.
You don't have to push the car. You've got an engine in the back, mate. You'll be right.
Put a hole in the floor and Flintstones it.
Flintstones. I think on that note, we'll end that sort of questioning of you, Kieran,
Yeah, cool.
and let you go and rest your weary head, shall we say. I hope your headache clears up. And we've been joined by Matt Richards as well. Thank you very much for joining us, Matt. Obviously, you had a very good battle most of the race. You want to talk us through from your point of view?
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting one. I think I had the car at pretty much the limit of what it could do here, and I was pulling everything out of my book of defending that I could pull against Patrick for most of the race, and just left a little bit of a door for him to get through in the end. And unfortunately, we had that little bit of a coming together when he'd lost it on the curb. But yeah, it was good fun up until that point, and felt like I deserved the P3 by the end of the race.
So I'm reading in the chat that Matt, that's you, sorry, that Patrick's apologising to you for that little bit of a tap at the end. But yeah, we were, Adam and myself, Adam the big Ginetta fanboy, were enthralled with your race throughout from start to finish. How did you not succumb to that pressure?
I've been around a long time, to be honest. So I've gotten used to it over the 14 years I've been sim racing. So at some point, if I'd have let him through, then I should be looking at hanging up the boots, I think. But yeah, just pulling everything that I could out of the car. There was a little bit of dirty defending in there, just sort of backing up on some of the apexes just to get the exit a little bit, but in the Ginetta it's what you have to do. It just doesn't have that top end, so yeah, it was a good fun race.
That sort of echoes with what Adam was saying during the commentary. Well done, Adam, you've got something right.
Oh,
You got quite a lot right tonight. I was very, very impressed. Have you, as a Ginetta fanboy, have you got any questions you'd like to ask Matt?
yeah. How do you make it go so quick? No, I mean it was a great battle. Obviously, you know, next time out at Imola, it's a bit longer. It should favour the Ginetta a little bit more with more twisty corners. Are you looking forward to it?
A little bit, yeah. I quite like Imola, and there's less long straights between some of the corners, so it might make it a little bit easier to defend on. And I mean, Misano, I was able to keep up with and attack Kieran a little bit towards the end of that race. So a track like Imola might play into favour, and I might be able to finally attack the top two a little bit more.
We'll just pretend that massive long start-finish straight doesn't exist.
Yeah, we'll ignore that one.
We'll pretend we'll just make it. We'll put a chicane in. But no, again, brilliant drive from yourself. You know, that was a great battle for 50 minutes. You two were back and forth. You know, almost trading times, and at one point, obviously, alongside each other for a few times. So no, it was absolutely wonderful to watch, and I wish you the best of luck for your next round.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you. And last but not least at the moment, let's bring in our AM winner, Mr. Bas van Mellis. Good evening, Bas.
Evening, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Very pleasurable watching your race again, winning the AM class tonight. And I think that puts you on something like 295 points.
Yeah, I believe so.
With Gavin Utley, I don't recall joining the event tonight. On 131 points. I'm not sure if that may very well make you almost champion.
I think there's 150 points left, so I think it actually makes me champion.
My maths isn't my strong point on a Tuesday evening. Or
I'm similar.
So, but yeah, congratulations on your win. We saw at the start you have a little bit of door banging with Mr. Hedges.
Yes.
It was very kind of him to put you back on the straight and narrow. We spotted that on stream, so I'm sure you'll be thanking him for the incident and
correcting his fault.
and correcting his fault straight away. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was. I believe it was in Maggots or Beckett's. I always get the two confused. But I was. I think I was well ahead, and he hit me on the, I believe, left rear side, and I went to full opposite lock, and luckily he hit me again in the front, and I went back straight. So that was a lucky catch, really. There was not much skill involved there, but it was the first lap. That's where races are won.
Yeah, obviously first corner and first lap is as every sim racer knows, is where
vital.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Dave, if you hear this next time, be a bit more patient.
I'm sure he won't be watching this stream back after having seen who's doing the commentary. Anyway, that's not to get you, Adam, by the way, honest.
I was about to say, I think I have a lovely voice.
So we watched you come back through the field, and you had some really close battles with people, particularly Adam Zalovic towards
Yeah, definitely.
the end. Do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, well, Adam and myself were both driving similar lap times, but you could see him that, well, I was really, well, not hoping, that would not be nice, but he was really searching for the track limits, and I think quite a few times he was taking the track limit, so if he has less than 3, I would be surprised. And in the last few laps, he especially in what's the corner name again? After the first straight, God knows.
First straight,
Stowe, yeah. That's where he, well, more or less constantly lost out, so I could get quite near to the back of him. But in the third sector, he had a quicker exit, so. Well, we had a few close fights, very clean, no contact whatsoever, so I was really happy with that, and I unfortunately didn't have the pace to outrun him, but I think we can crown Adam Minister of Defense of this race, because he was really, really quick, and if you look at for the first battle he had with Damien, he was also really good on defense, and he was taking all the correct lines, so yeah, I take my hat off for him. Great racing.
Okay, so as we've already pointed out, it does look like, providing there's no steward inquiries that demote you in any way, shape or form, that you are the AM champion of this inaugural season. Does that mean that you're not going to bother turning up for the final 3 rounds?
Of course not. I'm definitely gonna turn up. No, I'm really happy, obviously, that I can fight for the podium in the AM class, but it's also fun, obviously, finishing top 10 overall. I believe this race there were quite some sign-offs and people not turning up, so that's a bit of a shame. But obviously you always try and end as high as possible, and I was also very happy with my 7th place in quali, so the practice is beginning to pay off a bit, but these are probably my famous last words, and next race I'll be last.
Oh, congratulations, Baz. Which wheel were you using tonight, by the way, out of your plethora of 3,000 that you have to choose from?
Well, actually the wheel I almost always use, and that's my 720S GT3 wheel, so yeah, it's not really a matching one, but I'm awaiting the Porsche wheel, so it should arrive somewhere this year, I hope.
Is that from your usual supplier?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it was a fun night again, and well, Adam and Chris, thank you very much for doing the commentary, because I believe, Chris, it's your wife's birthday, so congratulations, Caroline, and thank you for letting Chris commentate with us.
Thank you for that. Fortunately, she won't be listening, but I will pass on your sentiments. Greatly appreciated that, and I'll go and see where she's going to shove the rolling pin.
Yeah, that's probably not a thing we want to see, but I believe they can also log into your OnlyFans, right, Chris?
Shut up! Don't be talking about my OnlyFans. Right.
Okay, guys. Well, have a good one, and thanks very much for doing the commentary and the broadcasting tonight again. Also, thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Bass.
No worries, thank you very much, buddy.
Speak soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So, Adam, was that
Yeah.
your? I think when I opened up the show, it was your first taste of the GT4s in this season.
It absolutely was.
And I've got a funny feeling you'll be watching a few more.
Absolutely. Well, if you'll have me back in here, I'm sure I can be another shouty man for a bit longer. So, yeah, no, this was absolutely brilliant. You know,
So
like I said, Silverstone breeds good battles, and good battles we had throughout the entire race. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant job by everybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the championship shapes up in these final few rounds.
always good to have plenty of people in the commentary booth. I think Sam will be joining us for the next event. I'm also putting her in the diary that she doesn't know about. But you know, if there's 3 of us in the booth at that point, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, always welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you tonight, and you coming out with facts and me coming out with rubbish. I think it balances itself out.
As always.
So, just to conclude for tonight, then from start to finish, Lewis Dykes wins this event with Kieran Vidago very close, in second place, but not feeling the best. Close battle for third was eventually won out by Patrick Vance. And to conclude, our championship winner of the AM category, Bas van Mellis, is confirmed and can't be caught. So we look forward to the as on stream we're watching the incident at the start of the race. Very good timing that, Tom. And we look forward to seeing you at the next round at Imola in 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks time. On the 3rd of May. I think it's actually longer.
That's a longer. So maybe there's a break we're not aware of.
yeah. Apologies for this. I should know this. There's 2 endurance races between now and then, which will be the charity race on the 16th of April, as beautifully demonstrated there by Tom. All proceeds going to Save the Children, in support of the Ukraine. Still plenty of sign-ups available. We've got 15 teams signed up at the moment. We're going to race and we're going to broadcast with a live stream throughout, and we look forward to welcoming you to that event. But next week we have GT3 action. And I'm desperately trying to remember where that's from. So it's 2 rounds
Misano.
from Misano, 2 30-minute sprint races. So we look forward to seeing you then. So from myself, Chris Hill, and Adam,
Yep.
good night.